here and live here as well. And I am live everywhere. Hello, everyone. Great Friday. Welcome to Friday afternoon. It's Juli coming to you live from Laval, as usually every week, with a new business partner, a new person here on my business page. For those of you who are just getting to know me now, thank you for being here with me on my platforms. My name is Julieta. I work in construction as an engineer, and I am actually running a digital business since a few years now. So every week, what I do is I present a business partner here on my page, so that they bring their valuable story to share with everybody, because we're many doing this business and we love to share what we do, how we help people, and whatnot. Today I have a re-invitation of somebody who's been on my page already a year and a half ago. Her name is Nikki, and I'm just gonna invite her in, and then I'm gonna chat a little bit with her. So I'm gonna turn this around so you guys can see her. You don't want to see me. And hello, Nikki.
Hi, Juli. Happy Friday.
Yay, happy Friday. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great too. Just changing my banners here to your name.
Yeah, I love your tree behind you. That's great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank God my kids put it out, because I said, you guys want a tree? Okay, get to work.
'Tis the season, right?
Yeah, I've done it too many years now, so now they have to do it.
Looks great.
Yeah. So, Nikki, thank you again for giving me a little bit of your time. Like I was introducing just 2 minutes ago, we've been together online on my page 18 months ago. So at that moment, you shared the whys you were looking for a digital business, a little bit of your background, and what I'm going to say is, I will paste the link to that interview on the comments. So if people get curious and want to know more about yourself and myself, they can go to that link and watch us a year and a half ago. And yeah, maybe we can have comments on both. What do they think then, and what do they think now? So if you are watching live from wherever in the world you're watching, let us know. If you have questions about this digital business, Nikki and I are here to answer them for you. Leave them in the comments, and we'll get back to you definitely. So, Nikki, 18 months have passed. Wow.
I know. Time flies.
Yeah, time flies. Yes, absolutely. So, what has changed in your life, in this business, since I know you've had a lot of milestones? So, why don't you share a little bit about that, and how has that changed you as well?
Sure. Well, as you know, I started this business in fall of 2020, and I'm still here going strong 3 years later.
Yes.
When I started, I was very excited for the opportunity. I have the appropriate background that I was able to weigh out all the pros and cons of the business. And so I had really high hopes. And that first year, I spent a lot of time refocusing on family. We spent a lot of time traveling. There was just a lot of things. The world was kind of recovering at that time. And I did a lot of learning about the business. But this past 18 months has been absolutely incredible, because I have been able to share more of my learnings with both people who are already participating in the business and people who had followed me for a while and were kind of waiting to see, how I did and whether it worked. And so I've accomplished a lot. I've grown a lot. I have become a coach. And so I'm an actual business coach now, and I'm able to coach and mentor others in a stronger way, even than I could in the beginning. I've sort of set myself into some routines at home. So, my work time is less, my me time, my family time is more. And I've been able to travel a ton. So my family doesn't live in the same province as me. And I actually just got back from visiting my sister and my parents in Nevada in the United States for 3.5 weeks. And that was a spur of the moment. You know, my sister said, "Hey, I'm going to visit mom and dad. You should come." So I booked a flight and I went, and I was able to work from there. So, you know, everything that I had imagined kind of has happened and then some, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow, that is great because we always come, with hopes, high hopes, right? And it's incredible when you see somebody that actually are achieving milestones, right? Like yourself, like myself, and it gives hopes to other people who are looking for something, different that want to, have a supplement of their income, or even some people have the hope to completely replace their salaries, their full-time jobs, whatever. And so when we see these milestones and the achievements that you've had, it really helps, especially with people, when people are a little bit skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, having all the achievements that you've had, and becoming a coach and all that, how do you deal when people show up with a bit of skepticism? I don't remember if you had it at the beginning, but what's your advice for them?
Well, I'm not really a skeptic. I'm more of an optimist, but my husband is a heavy skeptic. So I really had to overcome that because when I joined this business, I had lost my job. So I had to get his help in order to get started. I had to have his backing in order to not return to the regular workforce because I wanted to just go all in and see what I could do with this. Now, having said that, if I could do it again, I would have started while I was working and done that whole learning and growing phase a couple hours a night or every other night or something instead of jumping in and going full time. I think that I would have gone that route. But I get a lot of people that are very skeptical because there are a lot of things out there that promise,
Yeah.
you're going to make millions overnight, you're going to, pay off your mortgage and buy a new car and all of that. And I mean, that's understandable that people are skeptical, but at the same time, having a human resources background, what I usually talk to them about is if they've ever started a new position with a new company. Because when you start a new position with a new company, you are going on the interviewer's word about what your work environment is going to be like, what your hours are going to be
Ooh.
like, what your pay is going to be like, how often you can expect bonuses or raises. And you sort of just do it, right? You just sort of take their word and you go to that position, maybe leaving another position, and you hope that it's going to be everything that you hope for. And if it's not, then you have to either quit and find another position, or you may get terminated and be without a job. Like, you don't know, right? So it's always a risk. So what I like about our opportunity is there really is no risk because you're learning step by step by step. So, you have 30 days in the beginning with no risk whatsoever to check everything out and make a real informed decision. And I
Yeah.
like that. So I just encourage people to take that step and spend that 30 days asking all their questions, snooping around our Facebook private groups, talking to people, get a feel for it, and then move forward. And as you're building your business, just like any other business, you can start with lower time investments, lower cash investments, and you can work your way up if you choose to do that. And obviously, the
Yeah.
most successful people are the ones that reinvest their time and money back into their business, right?
Yes. Wow. I really never thought about what you said about, when you start a new job, or even your first job. Yeah, they do, it, but it's all in the mindset, because that is what we've been taught, okay, go get a job, and not everything in your job is, flowers and roses, right? It can turn out that it's not exactly what you expected, and that's pretty cool. I never thought about that. It's
Yeah.
totally.
And I mean, especially for people with other commitments, I being in HR, I had a lot of single moms, for example, who had to call in sick often. And while I
Yeah.
had sympathy and empathy for them, the company needs the people there to work. So there were times where those people were penalized or even terminated at
Wow.
least with our business, it's up to you whether you move forward. It's up to you what your hours are. So if
Yeah.
you're, for example, a single mom, or you have a lot of other commitments, you don't necessarily fit into that 8 to 4 Monday to Friday schedule. You don't have to work that. You can work it around children, around hobbies, around travel,
Yeah.
whatever. So I mean, I think it's fantastic.
Yes, it definitely is. And especially, when you started, you didn't have a job, you weren't working. And in my case, I'm working full time. So you said it also, you would have preferred starting when you had your job. And it's not impossible to do, because how flexible this is. In my case, when I started, I started a little bit, more intense, because I wanted to advance faster in the training, and setting up the business. But that means, or at least for me, it meant maybe 2 hours every evening, let's say, or maybe sometimes
Mhm.
more, because you get so into it, that you don't feel it's not work. You're not working. You're doing it because you enjoy. Because at the end, it is fun what we do as well. So it doesn't feel like work, because actually, you're taking care of your own business. And it is doable, absolutely. And that's what a lot of people ask me, about working full time. I said, listen, it's really up to you, how fast you want to go, how fast you're able to go, right? Because sometimes it's not what we want, what we can do. But
Mhm.
definitely having a job and starting, it is a good option.
Well, for sure. And there's more learning, more training up front, but because so much of it is automated,
Yeah.
once you put certain things in place, once you learn, that time required becomes less and less and less and less. So I'm at a point now where I have days where I feel motivated and I really dive in, and I have other days where I don't do a thing, and I still am able to earn that income because so much of it is passive, which is wonderful.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And and this is one of the reasons that it's fitable, not doable and compatible with so many other commitments, whether it's a job or kids activities. And in my case, I don't have little kids, but there are parents and families who do. And
Yes.
if you think about it, and I always compare it to this, when I started this business, I couldn't afford to get myself into something that would add another source of stress, right?
Right. Right.
Already. So and it didn't, right? It is perfectly doable. So that's what I try to
Right.
explain to people.
No stress, and it's portable. So
Yeah.
if you're, for example, someone who has, I don't know, kids in hockey, and you're spending a whole bunch of time in an arena, and you
Yeah.
spend some of that time between games, waiting for games, when your kid's not on the ice, whatever, spend some of that time scrolling on your phone. Well, you could be using that time on your phone to run your business. So,
Definitely.
I mean, to me, it is just absolutely amazing the way it's all set up. And because our community is so supportive, there's always help, right? Like if you get stuck or you can't do something that you need to do, like someone will help you. Like it's amazing to me. I love it. And if I could go back 20 years and start while I was working and simultaneously build wealth,
Yes.
that's what I would have done. I
Yes.
didn't join
Yes.
till I was 50, but I feel like I always say I feel like I'm aging backwards, because it's like you said, if you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So even though you might be putting in a few hours in the evening, it's no different than putting in a few hours watching your favorite TV show, because it's enjoyable for you. It's not
Yeah.
stressful, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and not everything is technical, right? And talking about technical also, I always tell people we don't need to be tech savvy or to have a lot of skills to run this business, because everything is provided. And we've said this in our previous interview, but I like to remind it, because that's one of the worries that I had, and that a lot of people I find that have the skepticism, and the am I going to know what to do? Of course you will, because we provide you what you need to do. I mean, you're not left alone to figure it out. Nobody is. Not Nikki wasn't. I wasn't as well either. And like she said, we have the great community that support us if we run into any hiccups, like we call it.
For
So
sure. And
my last,
things change so fast. Things change so fast. So even
yeah,
3 years ago, we didn't have as much AI as we do now. So, I mean, even ChatGPT now and different AI apps and different creative apps do so much of the work for you now. You just have to get someone to show you how to use it and then plug in the information. So even that is lessened. Like it, to me, I think, even another 3 years from now, we'll barely have to touch our business. It will just run itself almost.
true,
So
true. And it is, because you can't compare the same amount of time online or offline, right? It just can't. And that I didn't know until I really dive myself into this business. I don't know if this happened to you, but I realized that, like you said, 3 years, in 3 years that you started, so many things have changed. Our training has improved enormously. Our community has grown like thousands and thousands of people, and all the tools that we have today that we didn't have 3 years ago.
yeah.
Imagine in 3 more years.
And for me, I went from a 40 to 60-hour work week. Now I'm maybe 20-hour work week.
Wow. Yeah, that
You
was
can't beat that.
impressive.
You can't beat that for the same income or better,
Yeah.
right?
And from
So
anywhere you want to be, right? Because
yeah.
you don't have to commute to anywhere to run your
Oh
business.
yeah. No gas costs, no office clothing
Yes.
costs, no food costs. I have business write-offs working at a home office. I mean, there's just what I will say to everybody watching is, if you're curious, ask, because if you reach out to Huli or you reach out to me, we can explain so many other benefits, because we could be on here for 5 hours if we
Yeah.
were to cover everything, right? But there
Yeah.
are so many little things that so many people don't fully get about the big picture of working online, and it's fantastic.
Yes. Yes. Because we haven't been taught that way. We haven't been taught to think out of the box, right? We've been structured, from the learning phases of our young ages. We've been structured that way, but at one point, you have to do things differently if you want different results. So that's what we've done, and this is what we want everybody to do and learn about. So that's what we're here for. So
Absolutely.
Nikki, that was kind of the wrap up for me. Thank you so much for your time. I hope people have enjoyed this. I'm definitely sure they have, because your testimony is always so valuable, and bring her hope, and actually people realize that there is a different way to do things. So everybody out there, thank you for watching. Leave us your questions if you have any. Enjoy the rest of the Friday. And Nikki, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.
Bye bye.